Happy Tuesday, everybody. We had a PPI report just released at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, and then we got a pump on futures. And you can see this is S&P 500 came to buy zone futures here on Monday, and from buy zone to the sell zone, nice pump across the board throughout. You can see from green level to red level, 1.86% on S&P 500. Nasdaq, you can see also touched the green line and now touching the red line, almost 2.23%. You can see Bitcoin also as well. You can see came below touching the green line from here to touching the red line, 7.65% pump. You can see came below around 89, 90,000 yesterday and now pumping almost 8% higher. Even Ethereum doing the same thing. You can see from pump from green line to red line. Nice pump of also here around 9% here. So you can see all major indices, including Dow Jones. Here you can see this pump here, DIA ETF, you can take 2%, and then Russell probably going to be strongest of the indices. It was up almost 3.3%. So that's how this indicator works. All very, very important to keep an eye on this. And if you want to know more about this, join my channel. And there's a join button in the description of this video. And I share these levels with my subscribers every hour. Okay, so where we are right now on S&P 500, you can see I was looking for this price to go in this green area, came very close to green and then bounced. So I don't know if it's going to be a bounce which is going to be failing and coming back to green line. I don't know that, but usually I wait for this to touching the green line to buy again. You can see touches of green line. This time it fell little short here and then bounced. So maybe is this same as this time here, or we're going to go lower? I don't know. All I know is at some point we will be in this green area, all right? And if you're shorting, make sure the lower we go, the more we go towards white line, that's the area you don't want to be short, okay? So now there are two possibilities. Where do we go from here? We could go and go touch above this 6320 line. That's quite possible. Or we can go below and go below 5400. So that's also possible. So that's where we are kind of stuck right now in the middle. We'll see where it goes. If you trade MES chart, the levels are slightly different. 35, 33, 60, sorry, 63.56 is here, red line, and then 54.87 and below is where you want to be buying again. So futures are up. Well, it's going down a little bit right now. Let's go to daily chart, and you can see here. Let me put US 500 here. You can see going a little bit down, but that's fine. It's just after I think there was a report of PPI, I think, wholesale inflation report. So producer price index, PPI. So uh, it rose only 0.2%. They were expecting 0.4, so it's pumping. In terms of SPX daily chart, you can see here we did get a pump, and now cycle is still showing some more weakness. And this gap is filled, so I have to remove this. So there was a gap here. It opened on a gap down, they filled it. Now they could go higher, fill this top gap before coming down. That's quite possible too. So we'll see how it goes. Right now, I cannot tell you, but the cycle is saying more lower prices are ahead. This is live futures. You can see here trying to rally in front of some resistance here. So let's see if this is going to be failing here and go lower, or it's going to break out. We'll see how it goes, and then time will tell. NDX also same thing. There was a gap uh, which probably is going to be filled now because Nasdaq is up 0.62% pre-market. So this gap is going to be probably they're going to open a gap up. So this gap is going to be there's going to be a gap created. So they could bring it down to fill that gap at the bottom before taking it higher. All right. So that's on Nasdaq. On Dow Jones, DIA ETF again rallying, and this gap they're trying to fill 425. Just keep that in mind. There's some other gaps to the downside, and then IWM also there's a bigger gap here around 221, and then also there are gaps at the bottom. So we'll see how it goes. Bitcoin came back in the support area and then bounced again. You can see a wick here. We made a new low and bouncing right now in front of this red line, which is 50 moving average, which is around 97 500-ish area. So let's see if it's going to be bouncing from here to make a new high, or this is going to be another lower high before it fails again. So we'll see. Again, this box is acting as a strong support for Bitcoin. Ethereum also made a wick and now holding, actually it made a new low, uh, holding above this blue line, which is 200 EMA. In terms of Bitcoin CME futures, there's a gap around 77K, keep that in mind. And Ethereum had a gap and that's filled with this wick yesterday. So you can see the gaps always get filled. Now next gap is all the way down to 2236 and all the way up to 3937 on Ethereum. So it's right now in the middle. So all depends on Bitcoin where which gap will get filled on Ethereum. In terms of bond market, made a new low yesterday and now here somewhere here some support here which is around 109ish area, and if you want to see on TLT, this is around 80, low 80s, 81, 82 area. Okay, so that's where some good support is coming. Toronto Stock Exchange was a bit weaker, um, mainly due to oil and commodities, gold. So let's see how it goes today. Again, gaps down, gaps up. It Hang Seng Index got a 9 count buy signal. Still, I'm thinking this 18,000 gaps will get filled. So looking for lower prices. Inversely, we do have another big gap around 21K, so keep that in mind. Um, let's go to one now, which I just want to make sure this gap is there for real because I see a big wick. Yeah, there is a gap here. You can see how I track the gaps. Okay, so now keep moving. Natural gas down 4%. So uh, lower high still holding support on this 20 moving average. Let's see if this wants to go and fill this gap at 3.24 or lower before going higher. Usually seasonality is from mid-January to March is pretty weak for natural gas. We'll see if it's going to play out. Gold is also holding above all moving averages, just consolidating. Silver is kind of flat with nice wick yesterday, sell off, and then now holding here. Copper, since it went above the support area, bouncing by the dip on copper. Sugar is down. Wow, in the buy area. Sugar is in the buy area, guys. This is where you want to be buying. Wheat is also bouncing from this, touching from this white line, white trend line. So bouncing on a touch of these trend lines. Copper is very, sorry, this is a wheat, sorry, corn. Very, very bullish. Above all moving averages, finally it bottomed and going higher. So very good. Dollar is yesterday was kind of consolidating. Today also consolidating above all moving averages. Dollar's holding very strong. Looks like it wants to reach this target 113, 114. In terms of crude oil, which I missed, sorry. Here you go. Crude oil above all moving averages made a new high yesterday and now consolidating a lower. Any dip will be bought, in my opinion. I think crude oil is going here to mid 80s. Here, this you can see them some area here with some resistance. This whole area, this is where I think it's going around 80s. So sooner than later, with some, it's been you can see RSI is so overextended, PPS overextended, just consolidating. CNQ, I'm very, very disappointed. I don't know what happened. Looks like some manipulation going on. You can see all energy stocks were up because crude oil was up so high nicely yesterday, and they made a nice, not a nice, very ugly engulfing wick. So now there is a support, another gap here around 30.9. That's where 20 moving average is also coming. So let's see if it's gonna hold there. Also, there was this resistance, so probably this one acted as a resistance here. So it's not easy to kind of trade. You can see this whole area. Now, there was a lot of support in this area. There were a lot of confluence. Like you can see, last year, most of this range, this was started from August 2023 to February 2024. So almost more than 6, 7 months, it was just chopping around here. So we are entering that area. We could chop around. I don't know how it's going to play out. All I know is there are gaps to the top, and you have to be very patient. You can see all these yellow lines, big gaps. So we'll see when it's going to play out. I don't know when, so we'll wait and see what they do. Although down 0.4% pre-market, you got to be patient on this stock. And Apple getting a 9 counts buy signal yesterday, couple of gaps to the top. Maybe they will try to fill that. In also there's a gap around 216, so keep that in mind. If it drops here to fill that gap, that's where 200 EMA SMA is coming, and that's a good area to buy. Other than that, um, NVDA was down again, gapping up this morning, filling this gap. So I have to adjust this once the market opens. But there's a gap around 119. Tesla was very strong yesterday and today also going higher with all these gaps. AMD closed strong yesterday with all these gaps on the top side. So this is also service now. Also, let's see if it's going to bounce from here. Most of these stocks reversed yesterday. UNH also nice, facing some resistance, 200 EMA SMA. And yeah, I think that's about it. And then VIX is going down to fill this gap, 17, and then just remember there's also this gap around 17, so it will be filled at some point. I just don't know when. So let's see how today's sessions goes, guys. Let's see if Nasdaq can go above all moving averages and close above at least these red lines, or um, S&P 500 if it can also do that. So, or it's gonna fail and we go lower because there are some more gaps to the downside. But this selection gap is filled yesterday, so we'll see how it goes. All right, guys, hit the like button on your way out. I'll talk to you later. Bye.